Last night, I dreamed I awakened in a place that was neither heaven nor earth. It was a vast marble hallway stretching farther than sight itself. Every doorway shimmered with its own atmosphere, and beyond each stood a figure I somehow recognized without ever having met. Mercury paced quietly, carrying scrolls and maps that seemed to rewrite themselves. Venus laughed, with gardens blooming wherever she stepped. Mars stood in polished armor, restless, eager for movement. Jupiter spoke with scholars gathered around him. Saturn held an ancient clock whose hands never hurried, yet were never late. Neptune gazed into waters that reflected possibilities instead of faces. Pluto stood silently near a doorway that seemed to dissolve and rebuild itself with every breath. Each ruler spoke naturally of the quality entrusted to them, as though they had spent eternity becoming masters of a single principle. Then I noticed someone standing apart from them. It was my friend. He carried no crown, no celestial robes, no staff of authority, only ordinary clothes and tired eyes. He stood in the center of the hallway, surrounded by hundreds of unopened doors. Every door led toward another possible future. One whispered of business, another of creativity, another of unexpected opportunities, another of roads not yet imagined. He wasn't afraid of the doors. He was afraid of choosing the wrong one. As I walked toward him, I could feel the weight he carried. Not failure, but the terrible burden of believing he should already know. His hands searched for a blueprint that did not exist. His eyes kept looking over his shoulder as though the past still expected something from him. I reached him and gently touched his arm. "You don't have to force the hallway to become a destination." He looked at me with tired confusion. "But everyone else already knows their purpose." Before I could answer, the rulers of the planets slowly gathered around us. I expected Saturn to speak about discipline, Mars about courage, Mercury about planning. Instead, they all became quiet. Finally, Jupiter smiled. "We each govern only one principle." Venus nodded. "I know love." Mars lowered his sword. "I know action." Saturn rested both hands upon his clock. "I know time." Then all of them looked toward my friend. Earth had not yet spoken. The hallway itself seemed to inhale. Finally, Saturn broke the silence. "You think you have nothing because you are waiting." Venus smiled gently. "But Earth," my friend started to say, Mars finished the sentence, "is where all of us must wait together." My friend looked puzzled. Jupiter stepped closer. "You believe you should represent business." Mercury shook his head. "You believe you should represent planning." Venus smiled again. "You believe you should represent success." Then Pluto finally spoke for the first time. "No, you don't. You actually represent becoming." The hallway around us transformed. Every unopened door disappeared. Only the hallway remained, long, peaceful, filled with light. My friend looked worried. "But there are no doors," he said. Saturn smiled in a way that somehow made eternity feel gentle. "There never were. The doors appear only after Earth has become ready to walk." For the first time since entering the hall, my friend stopped searching. He simply stood, breathing, listening. The silence that had once felt empty slowly became full, not with answers, but with presence. As we turned to leave, I looked back once more. The rulers of every planet remained exactly where they had always been, yet none of them stood in the center. Only Earth had been given the hallway. Only Earth carried every possibility at once. And I understood why. The greatest lesson in the universe is not learning how to move. It is learning how to remain fully awake while nothing appears to be happening. When I awoke, one sentence lingered more clearly than any image. The hallway is not delaying your life. The hallway is your life, teaching you to hear the footsteps of intuition before the doors ever appear. Thanks for joining me today for this message from our stars and sweet awareness dreamers.